Hey, thanks for joining us today. I'm meteorologist Taylor Cox, and we're tracking storms across a good portion of the U.S. today. I've outlined about 5 areas of concern for strong wind, flooding. We've got a tornado threat, and we have a hail threat as well. Of course, we're tracking that hail here at HailTrace. But in my rush to get this forecast out, I have forgotten the clicker. So let me go grab my clicker real quick, and then we will get to your headlines today. Alrighty, first headline on the board right here, severe risks all over the map. We were just talking about how widespread the severe risk is for today, and we'll break it down for you. We'll talk about the hazards in each area. We've got several tornado risks today, so 2 tornado risks to be exact, across northern Oklahoma, Wichita, Kansas included in that risk, as well as Omaha and Lincoln, Nebraska. We are also tracking out to the Atlantic, a very, very active Atlantic. Not only do we have a major hurricane, Category 3 hurricane right now, Gabrielle, but we also have another few storms most likely on the way, and we'll talk about the risks for that. We've got a 40% risk for that. We've got a 70% risk for that as well. Here's the track of Gabrielle so far. You can see that this storm made its way up to the north as it kind of made a pivot, a very messy pivot here. Now a Cat 3 hurricane. Pressure finally below 1,000 millibars. Hey, are you guys headed to Oklahoma City on October 6th? You should be, because we've got RoofCon here locally to Oklahoma City. We're located in Edmond, so we're glad to have it just around the corner here. And Derek Klein is teaching a master class at RoofCon. We're very excited, and if you have not heard Derek speak before, you absolutely have to do that. Head over to roofcon.com/2025-Oklahoma. Now, before we get into a very active forecast today, I want to show you what we saw yesterday. A lot of people jumping on to say, what in the world happened yesterday? We had 2 3-star hailstorms here. So the first one, I'm going to take you up to Minneapolis, just on the south and east side of Minneapolis, near St. Paul. We had a 2-inch size hailstones in this area, about 44,000 homes impacted in this area as well. You can see that that first storm came through the Woodbury area, and then that second storm on the west side of the city, that was probably one of the more impressive storms. Minnetonka, Woodbury, Minnesota, all included in this. Now, one of the more impressive storms that we saw yesterday as well was all the way down in Texas. Now, this storm had a direct track to Dallas, and it just dissipated just before it could actually make it into the city. However, we got some very, very large hail in places like Sanger, Denton, and Sherman, Texas. Actually, let me, before we go into the statistics here, show you a very, very fascinating video, phenomenal video here coming out of Anna, Texas. So this is that eastern storm. 2 supercells dropped massive hail. I mean, the visibility, just because of the hail and the high wind that came with this as well, was so impressive yesterday. The visibility dropped down. They can barely see past the cars in their front lawn. Actually, that person, let me read you what they said from outside of Anna, Texas. What they said yesterday was that they were devastated. Let me get you the exact info here. Here's what this mom said. Shelby Motley said, literally the worst storm we've ever encountered. 2 broken windows, 2 brand new 2025 vehicles completely destroyed. My Suburban may be destroyed as well. We are expected another cell to come through. Devastated is an understatement right now. My heart is sad. That was coming from a mom outside of Anna, Texas. So that's this storm right here that dropped some large hail from Sherman to Melissa. Now let me give you some statistics on this storm right here. We had, come on, graphics, why are we not working here? Try again. Okay, you guys see me hitting the button. It's gonna play with me today, okay. Okay, our graphics system may be a little stalled right now. We're gonna give it a minute to wake up. It is Monday after all. And then we're gonna, oh, okay. Well, my producer is back here saying I'm not quite sure. I'm also not quite sure what to do. Let's show that picture or that video one more time out of Anna, Texas, and we'll hopefully get the graphics system back up and running.
Yeah, it's not going to show up because I just pressed it. Let me try it again. Do you think? Because like it looks like it went back fine, but I don't know. Oh.
We're white screening, yeah.
Okay. computer.
Okay, computer, we'll give it just a few seconds to see if it'll jump back up here. Again, this is video outside of Anna, Texas yesterday. Just one of the 2 supercells that dropped some massive hail in this area, and not just a little bit of hail, but a lot of hail. Holy moly, they can barely see the cars that are just outside of their driveway. And we are working to get our graphics system back up. It is coming back up right now. Give us just a minute to pull up those graphics once again. And for the 3rd time, we'll show you this video one more time, and then I promise the graphics system, it'll be back up and running.
Hold on. Take camera,
Mm-hmm.
camera feed, and then we're trying to do it again.
There you go. Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I had no idea what happened there for a second. It just like.
You know, it has a
blacked
mind
out.
of its own. Okay, let's see if it worked. It's thinking about it.
Oh my God. Oh no. Okay.
We must have just overrun it with all of this very, very busy forecast. Not only are meteorologists very busy back here, but our graphics system as well. Okay, well, we are officially back up and running. So let's go ahead and give you the statistics or the data that came out of these 2 supercells in northern Texas yesterday. Again, just to the north of Dallas, Texas. Our max hail size here was 2 inches. 23,000 homes impacted here. And the cities that were impacted from these 2 supercells right here, Sanger, Sherman, Anna, and Melissa, Texas. Now let's go ahead and let's take a look back at what we saw yesterday. I think that we have our 24-hour storm reports here. So what we saw was a pretty busy Saturday evening, especially in the northern portion of Oklahoma, where we had lots of hail reports here, northern Oklahoma, northern Arkansas, southern Missouri. All of a sudden, we started to really keep an eye on northern Texas. As we headed into the afternoon hours on Sunday, we're talking between about 3 and 5 o'clock, we had our eyes on these supercells that were coming out of Oklahoma, across I-35, some high wind across I-35 as well to a Walmart distribution center. And these storms dove to the south, producing all of these hail reports along the way. So large hail, those hail reports were coming in. We knew this was a big system. All of a sudden, these storms weakened before they got to Dallas, but our attention went back up to the north into Minnesota. You look at Minneapolis, we had one storm come through on the Woodbury side, so that's near St. Paul. If you go just a little bit to the east there of Minneapolis, that's where we saw that first storm, and then we had another significant severe thunderstorm warning coming through the southwestern side of the city, again dropping 2-inch size hail in this area as well. Very, very impressive Sunday. All right, so can we do it again today? Yes, we have a really good chance to see another round of a significant hail day. But what we're probably going to see from the difference between yesterday and today is we now have that tornado threat on the board for today. We've got more areas in the path for storms today than what we saw yesterday. So I do think that this will be more of an impactful day today. Let's go ahead and take a look at your hail risk today. You can see here highlighted here in yellow. What we're watching for are some of these deeper oranges, maybe some reds out of this as well. Now I'm going to be honest, I bumped up our hail size, our max hail size today, to up to tennis ball size hail. But based off of what we saw yesterday, I'm not going any higher than that, and I think that will be very, very isolated. I think for the most part what we're going to see today is golf ball to smaller hail sizes, but in some very, very isolated cases we could get up to tennis ball size hail. So I went max hail size, tennis ball size hail today. Everyone else will probably see those smaller hail sizes, but look at this massive region that we have highlighted here in orange for up to golf ball size hail. It'll be pretty widespread today for that hail risk. Omaha to Wichita to Garden City are areas that we have highlighted for the best chance for large hail. Now Kansas City, you have a chance, especially to the west of you, but it's going to be pretty low and isolated, and it'll be tomorrow morning by the time the storms get to you. Oklahoma City, once again, a very low chance. If you go farther up to the north into places like Stillwater, then you're going to have a better chance for larger hailstones. Now you can see that we've outlined some very large areas here on the map, okay? You know that there's not going to be storms in every single area we've highlighted here in blue today. So here, what we're going to do in just a few minutes is we're going to circle region by region and talk about the specific storm hazards on the map today. Here's your wind hazard. Albuquerque included in this strong wind hazard today. Wichita, Garden City, Omaha also could see some strong winds today. Cincinnati to Cleveland. We've also got a line of storms, especially later on this evening, that could produce some strong wind in the Midwest. Now moving on to that tornado risk today, because a lot of people have that tornado risk outlined. We're going to go down into southern Kansas and northern Oklahoma. And then we're going to go up to the north into Nebraska and Iowa. And I know that we often have a lot of people watching from Omaha today, so we're going to zoom in and talk about that city-specific area in just a few minutes. Hey, look at that. Severe thunderstorm warning. Your tornado risk today. It's a level 1. A few isolated tornadoes are possible, but it's not 0, so we have to talk about it. From Dodge City to Woodward, Stillwater, Oklahoma, Tulsa, and up to Wichita, Kansas. That's your first area that we'll talk about today. And then you've got a second area from Lincoln to Omaha and Sioux City, Nebraska, and Iowa included in that risk as well. Now let's talk about timeline. You guys, it's a mess. I'm not going to talk about those wind risks in the Southwest. I'm really not going to talk too much about the Midwest either. What I'm really going to hone in on today is that hail and tornado threat that's right in the center of the U.S. And you can see that we've got a widespread area for storms today, and I apologize for the messiness of this graphic. I promise I'll break this down for you. So if you look up to the north, we're going to go to Nebraska first. Your timing here is between about 5 and 11 o'clock. These are the first few storms of the evening. Your hazards here are hail and high wind. This will continue to track to the east, and as we go later on into the evening hours, 6 to 1 a.m., so we're talking about overnight nocturnal storms here. You can't see it, but we're throwing that tornado threat on the board. We're going to be talking about all hazardous, all storm threats here. We've got high wind, large hail, and that tornado threat in places like Omaha and Lincoln. Go down to the south into Kansas and Oklahoma. Your timeline here, 8 p.m. to 7 a.m. What we're going to see is we're going to see storms starting out to the west and then tracking through the central portion of the state through the overnight hours. So this could wake you guys up in Wichita, Oklahoma City, and in Tulsa as we head into the early morning hours. And then some isolated storm threats this afternoon and evening as you head farther down to the south into places like Arkansas and southeastern Oklahoma. All right, I told you I'd break this down. So we're going to go back up to the north. We're going to come back down to the south. We're going to kind of do this over and over, and we're going to talk about the storm threats. And because we're talking about so many areas across the U.S. today, comment where you're watching from. Are you guys watching from the northern plains? Are you down in the southern plains? What do you guys want us to talk about today? So let's start in Nebraska. I told you that we're going to see a few isolated storms in this area. As you go farther out to the east into places like Iowa and into Wisconsin, you're going to see a lower chance for severe weather. But right here, this is our sweet spot for severe storms today. Watch this. Storms by about 6 o'clock tonight just blow up. We've got a cluster of storms that is going to move through right through the state line here. So we're talking about Sioux City to Omaha to Lincoln. That's where we're probably going to see the most widespread severe weather between Nebraska and Omaha. Again, they just blow up, and then they continue through the overnight hours tonight and into tomorrow morning. Now let's head farther down to the south. Let's go into Kansas and Oklahoma. Once again, we'll put our polygons on the board. It's a mess. I know, we're breaking it down for you. By about 8 o'clock tonight, what we're watching for is a line of storms on the western side of Kansas and Oklahoma. This will start out isolated at first, but then move to be a lot more widespread as we head into the late night hours. So we're talking about 11 to 2 a.m. here. You're asleep at this point, but I-35, it is awake. I mean, we've got tons of lightning here. You've got heavy downpours, you've got that tornado risk, and you've also got that large hail risk. So it's pretty widespread anywhere from the northern side of the state all the way up into central Kansas. This is going to continue as we head into the early morning hours, then targeting places like Tulsa and Kansas City. So you may be waking up a little bit before that alarm tomorrow because of these storms that are coming through. 7 a.m., that's whenever our risk ends, but those storms don't end. They'll probably continue into the early morning hours. It may disrupt your morning commute. And very quickly, we talked about that wind risk out in the southwest today, and we have another wind risk anywhere from the Midwest to Tennessee. There you go. There's your pretty widespread storms in this area. I do think that we'll get some strong wind in this area. We're talking about Cleveland, Cincinnati, all included in the risk today. Now, I know that was a lot of information. So if you ever need to go back and watch this forecast again, or if you have questions about the timeline for storms today, let us know and we can get that for you. We're pretty good about answering the comments section in YouTube and Facebook. Let's talk about the flood risk today. I told you right along 35 tonight, that's where we're going to be really watching for the flood risk. And then I-40 from Salina all the way out to Colby, Kansas, you've got a level 2 flood risk highlighted there in yellow. For tomorrow, you have another flood risk from southern side of Missouri all the way through Arkansas and eastern Oklahoma. Let me show you your Storm Prediction Center outlook. We haven't shown you this yet. We kind of outlined these two areas for you today. We talked about that there may be 2 areas in the northern portion of the plains and then 2 areas in the southern portion of the plains for storms today. We, of course, have those strong winds out to the east from Cincinnati all the way down into Tennessee, and then those strong winds in New Mexico as well. So we outlined that for you earlier, but I know that Storm Prediction Center risk is nice to see as well. Tomorrow we have another slight risk. That's a level 2 on a scale of 5. That highlighted here in yellow. It does include Oklahoma City. I think this will be mainly a morning storm system for Oklahoma. And then as we head farther into Arkansas, Texas, Tennessee, northern Louisiana, and northern Mississippi, you're going to see these storms in the afternoon and evening hours. By Wednesday, we continue with this track down to the southeast, southern Texas, including Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, and Kentucky with a marginal risk on Wednesday. So everyone, just about everyone, getting storms over the next 72 hours. Let's take you out to the Atlantic and the Pacific now. Let's talk about your hurricanes. We've got a tropical storm Narda in the Pacific, and then we've got a major hurricane in the Atlantic today. Rapidly intensifying from a Category 1 to a Category 3 hurricane overnight into early this morning. Very, very impressive storm here. Now this is Gabrielle. This storm will continue to track to the north. It has a chance to become a Category 4 hurricane before it weakens into some cooler waters as it continues to head to the north. It's going to become more disorganized and dissipate farther in the northern Atlantic. But if you look at our long-term models here, I don't like showing long-term models. I think it confuses people. We're all the way up to next Monday. We're 7 days out at this point. It does look like we have another storm on the radar. We're not quite sure exactly where this is going to go at this point, but I want to show you your potential tropical cyclone formation here. So we've got 2 areas to watch for. There's Gabrielle. Go down to the south. Take you to this first area that's closer to the U.S. So in this area, what we're watching for is a 10% chance for formation over the next 48 hours. Not worried about that right now, but later this week and into this weekend, we could see something form in this area. Where is it going to go? We're not quite sure yet. We need more time to figure that out. Well, we need more data, right? As this storm gets closer to us, we'll have more data. But right now, it's just a disorganized cluster of storms right now. It's not organized. However, as it moves a little bit closer to the U.S., it could. Now we go into this area highlighted here in red. We've got a 20% chance for tropical cyclone formation over the next 48 hours, but a 70% chance, so a lot more promising as we head into the end of this week and this weekend. So we have got to keep an eye on this area right here because this could be our next area of tropical cyclone formation. Your next named storm after Gabrielle is Humberto. Yes, that is correct. Got a Melda after that. Jerry and Karen are potential as well. Because we are starting to see the Atlantic really, really ramp up now with activity. So we'll keep an eye on it for you. Today, not too worried about the Atlantic. We are watching those storms across the central portion of the U.S. Temperatures today are also a little bit warmer than what we would normally see this time of the year, but not by too much. Cooler weather tomorrow as this cold front comes sweeping through the U.S., bringing us storms ahead of the front, but cooler weather behind it. So it feels a little bit more like fall as we head into the end, or middle rather, of this work week. Moving on, I want to show you your first peek at October. Okay, so this is the look at the very end of this month, September 27th through October 1st. It looks like temperatures have a really good chance to be warmer than average. See all those areas highlighted in red? That's your chance to be above average. So we're probably going to see t-shirt weather at least for some of us, all the way into the very beginning of October. And as far as your rainfall goes, about average for this time of the year, maybe a bit below average in the Midwest and a bit above average on the coasts. And there's your forecast. Well, we struggled to get through it after all of those early forecast technical difficulties. However, I'm glad that we finally got you that tornado, hail, and wind forecast for today. We are going to continue to track this. I know we have a severe thunderstorm warning ongoing right now. We'll be tracking that, and anything over a quarter-size hail or 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, our meteorologists, they'll be mapping that for you. Tornadoes on the ground, they've got that map for you as well, and then we'll be posting about it. So follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok, and give us a call if you're interested in that hail, wind, or tornado map. Give us a call at 855-334-4245 or email us at info@hailtrace.com or head over to our website, hailtrace.com, for more information. All right, thanks for joining us on your Monday forecast. We'll probably be back on here tracking storms live later this afternoon and evening. We'll see you then.